Hey everyone, welcome to Reasons for Roots. Today I'm showing you inside some of my favorite homeschool resources, and that is from Queen Supply. Queen is a supply company who specializes in the Charlotte Mason education. They offer like Charlotte Mason in a box, where you can have everything your child needs for a complete year of a Charlotte Mason education. They offer science, they offer language arts, they offer cursive writing and copy work and all kinds of fun extras. My daughter loves the cursive through picture study, and that has been one of our favorite things to use in our homeschool. I don't have that to show you in person right now because she's done with it, but she loved that. That was one of her favorite things we've done. We also love their language lessons and their Discovering Nature series. So if you've never checked out Queen Homeschooling Supplies, I hope after this video you'll head on over to their website and check them out. So I have a stack here of Queen Homeschooling resources. These are resources that we are currently using or fixing to use that I have set aside to use soon. So I'm going to show you through some of the language lessons books, as well as question of the day, some history, and some of their science. So this is question of the day, book B. We have already completed book A, and this is something that, well, it's already been started. This one has, but you can see that it basically just gives you a number of day, so like day 25, and it asks you a question. And so the child has to go research, and I have certain sites that I ask them to look for, certain sites that I don't allow them to look for. So one of these books has lasted us 2 years because it is 180 days. So we don't do it every day. Sometimes we get pushed to the side if we're in a rush. But my children do love this book, and we have started book B this year, and they are enjoying it. So I'm going to show you inside language lessons for the secondary child. I'm using this for my 8th grader, and she is advanced in her language arts. So it's easy to her, but it reinforces the vital concepts she needs to know. So what I love about it is that every day is different. So every day you're doing something different. So like today on lesson 1, you have a picture study and a narration. There's some question prompts here. She did this one orally. And then there's also copy work. There's grammar practice. There's some poetry. And you can just see how the exercises vary from day to day. There is quite a bit of copy work. So for the days where it's copy work, that's your language lesson for the day. So we do add in a little rod and staff to go with this book, just to supplement. And there are 180 lessons in this book as well. So this takes her about 10-15 minutes, depending on what the activity is, but she loves this. This is one of the first things she picks up. I think I'm going to try this for my younger son as well when he gets done with what he's working on, because I just like the reinforcement it gives, but I also like the gentleness that it teaches language arts. Okay, so for the language lessons, there's also an answer key. So I have an answer key that looks like this for each guide. So you can see how small they are. Very simple. It just tells you the answers. So that's very simple. So for language lessons 3 for the high school student, it starts similar with a picture study and narration. It has creative writing, spaces for that. It has dictation passages, editing skills, and then their main goal is going to be a research paper. So if you have a child that's needing some reinforcement writing a research paper, this would be a great resource to have. So you can see it's more, it's not as much grammar in this one. as in the one for my 8th grader. It's more focused on writing a research paper. Okay, so he'll be starting that when he's done with Fix It Grammar. And so that's what we have for language lessons.
She printed them. I watched her print them.
Okay, so for the Discovering History series, I have one for a pre-reader. So I have the New Testament Tales for Little Ones, and then I have the Ancient World, which I'm not really sure what age it's supposed to be for, but we're using it as reinforcement for our ancient history readings, so for 8th and 12th grade. Okay, so I'm just going to show you a typical lesson. Let me see. So for a typical lesson, you will have something to read. Okay, so you'll have the story, and that will be your lesson for the day, is reading the story. Then you will have something to draw, something to color, and then a timeline activity. And it looks like on day 5 here, she has the vocabulary. And that's pretty much how it's laid out every single week. We're liking the timeline. That really helps, I think, my son to see that the Bible is alive and that these are real stories. So the timeline helps. So you can see here, story, picture, art, print to color, timeline, and vocabulary. Okay, so that was for a pre-reader. So now I'll show you the Ancient World, Discovering History. So with this, it's basically the same. So you'll have something to read, like this is the Alexander, the Boy Who Conquered the World. Okay, so 2 pages. I would definitely say this is more middle school, high school. But it works well for what we're doing. So they read that, and then here is what they're doing for day 3. Okay, so for this particular set, or this particular book, it starts usually with day 1 with vocabulary. Okay, so they just look up those vocabulary words. Then on day 2, they read the story, which is 2 pages. And then they have, like this, as many different names and places are mentioned in this week's story. Look up the following names and write a description by each, telling what they are known for. Okay. Then we have a digging up the Bible, or into the Bible. And so I've enjoyed, my children have really enjoyed this section where they dig into the Bible and they tie it back to the story. So this is tied back to Alexander the Great. And then day 5, there's timeline. Okay, and it just continues doing that layout throughout the whole book. So vocabulary, story, and then the activities change. Sometimes it's a narration, but it also always ends with timeline. So you can see that's Julius Caesar. So the first product we ever bought from Queen was Discovering the Nature and Science series, and this is something that we have used for the past 4 years. So my daughter started, well, no, this will be our 3rd year. So my daughter started with one of these books, and she loved it. It was one of those things she instantly pulled to, and so we gravitate toward these. However, this is my son's first year of using one of the Queen's Discovering Nature books. So he is actually doing every herb-bearing seed for a health credit. So this is an alternative medicine book. Let's see. And so I'll show you just a glimpse inside of it. So you will see it has lesson 8, and it has information that you read in living book format. All of this is in living book format, so it lines up with the Charlotte Mason philosophy. Then there are different activities for them to do each day. Okay. So that is every herb bearing seed. So this is, and it was good, this is a book on creation science, and it has a very cute storyline that goes with it. So you have the living book format, the living story that you will read at the first of the week. Then you will have different activities, different questions. They're very cross-centered. And then, so there's 5 days of study here. So each day it has a different questions or different activities. There are projects, some projects. She's already done, I think, 2 projects with this book, and it has worked very well. So we have enjoyed everything we have purchased from Queen. I do plan on using a little bit more of her resources next year because they have been such good quality and they just fit well with our homeschool style and philosophy. But one thing I do love is taking these books and just sticking them in a box or put them up with the rest of the stuff I'm keeping for the school year and pulling them back out and looking at them from time to time. So I enjoy that these are spiral bound and that they're actually working through them. And so you can look back at your child's work, at what they've done. It's kind of like a notebooking aspect. So if you're big notebookers, which we are, this works really well and it fits our style of homeschool very well.